Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters challenge. We have two 80 proof, 40% alcohol blended scotch whiskies, alcohol, and one is mid priced and the other one is cheap, 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 cheap. All right. Dewar's 12-year $48.99, age 12 years, obviously Bacardi Limited brand, part of their John Dewar and Sons division. $48.99, but y'all know I got it for $14.99. Crazy, right? Best discount I ever got in my life. But don't look for that to happen. Let me check Albertsons real fast and see if I can find a price. I know I paid $6.49 for the Piperdean. All right, $6.49. Introduced in 2016. No age statement. Produced, let's say it like this: bottled by Sazerac. In Louisville, Kentucky, for True Value, Super True Value. That's a hardware store. Super Value stores, which is Jewel, Osco, Bonds, United States Grocery, Sons, and so on. So let's see what they got. To give a price, current price. Closest Albertsons. There's a lot of them in Baton Rouge. Not too many east of Baton Rouge. Around $7.99. Price is going up. It's still cheap. If you get their cheap Irish whiskey, the Drum Castle, it's $14.99. A lot better product too. Got more flavor and stuff. B Aviation says good morning. Good morning to you, B Aviation. All right. Thanks for. So let's pour them up. This won't take too long because it's going to be such a mismatch. Nice foil cap cover. Plastic twist cap for this handle. Bottle 1,750 milliliters. You're barely pouring it. The glass starts filling up, so you got to watch it. This thing will just flow out like craziness. Okay, I know it's made for super value stores, which Albertsons be the main one, but I have seen it at other places like Savannah Discount. I've seen it on the shelf there. I've seen this, Kings Bay, which is the rum. I've seen the Canadian Reserve, which is another Albertsons brand. I've seen, but I guess Savannah Discount gets it from some kind of negotiation or whatever. Like the Albertsons stores say, well, we don't want it. We got too much, and the distributor secondary sells it. I mean, I've seen it right there on the shelf at Savannah Discount. I mean, they didn't go in Albertsons and steal it. They didn't hijack it. And it was about the same price as Albertsons, so I didn't pay any mind to it. It just caught my attention. It's supposed to be a private label, but there it is. So it's a nice label, imported, Piperdean, aged in oak cask, which all Scotch is, so it doesn't mean much. They're showing heather in the background, you see. I mean thistle, heather. Thistle, which is a type of celery. My friend David was picking thistle back behind my house last year, and then he was eating it. Good. Got a random question. Would you rather live in Atlanta or Houston? I'd rather live in Houston because it's not as cold. And there's more college football teams to go see. Every weekend, you could have a team to go see, you know. Houston Cougars. You could just get the schedule and make your own schedule, you know, and So you go see the Houston Cougars. Then you could go see the Rice Owls, Texas Southern Tigers, I think they're called. Houston Baptist. Can't remember the name of that team's nickname, which is strange because I see them play all the time in baseball. But those four. And then in baseball season, you could go see all of those teams. So good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, BC's Beer Reviews. Regardless of if it's a bottle or a can, you can review it. And I was surprised with your 90 score on the Voodoo Ranger Imperial, I think you had. But, I mean, you know, IPAs are not for everybody. Still in the 90s. I'm sorry you were kind of getting interrupted there. BC was trying to talk and somebody kept kind of, but BC stayed calm. I was getting aggravated and I wasn't the one talking. I want to move somewhere warmer, but that has a Major League Baseball team and there's not many options outside of California. Yeah, well, Houston, you go see the Astros. Their stadium's kind of crummy, but because it gets really hot in there because it faces the wrong direction. They wanted it to face downtown so you could get a view of downtown. Well, that's why you go to a baseball game, because you want to look at downtown. You could do that outside. So the sun in the evening, the western sky, the sun is glaring right into the stadium, into the stands. And I don't care how much they got the air conditioner pumping, running. It's just hot in there. And my father was like, I hate this stadium. It's terrible, you know. I said, I understand. I mean, it's easy to park by the stadium. I can park for free over there with no, be right on the interstate after. And but the stadium's actually dug into the ground. When you walk in, you're at the midway between the lower deck and the upper deck when you walk in from the street. So you got to go down. But I would still go to games there if I lived in Houston, you know, but I'd be more at college baseball games like I just told you. Houston Baptist, Rice, Texas Southern, University of Houston, and so on. But that's all theoretical because I don't live in Houston. You asked me a question, that's the answer. Atlanta, yeah, that's all right. But it's too cold in the winter. I don't want to live in that cold city. All right, right. If I left this area, I'd either go to Houston or Miami, probably Houston or Miami. But Miami's too isolated. You know, you're at the very bottom tip of the United States, so then you stuck out there. But there's a lot of cool stuff to do around there. You know what I mean? Like this, you don't get bored. You know, there's a lot of stuff to see is what I mean. But nowhere cold. Nowhere cold. I wonder how you do in a Michigan winter. I would hate it. I mean, I could handle it. I would just hate it. You know, I'd just be hating it all the time. Louisiana, I always tell people Louisiana's too cold for me. And it feels cold here because of the humidity. So there was a kid in my class one time from Madrid, Spain, and he was saying it's so cold. Now, temperature-wise, Madrid in the winter is colder than New Orleans. But he said the real feel, it felt much colder because Spain is dry and Louisiana is very humid. So if it's 40 degrees here and it feels like it's much colder because it's just so humid, you just be chilled. You wouldn't want to walk around wet in the cold, right? Being wet. That's how it feels. It's very miserable. And I've talked to a lot of people from up north. It's humid up there on the eastern side of the Mississippi River, but and they'll say, oh, it's, you know, New Orleans, oh, it's cold, you know. And you can imagine what the summer's like. But I'm used to the humidity, so you just don't think about it. So when you first walk out in the morning to go get the newspaper, you say, oh, it's like walking into a shower with all the steam. I'm sure you would hate the snow up here in Michigan. I'm sure you're right. I can't stand the winters here. It won't get to 70 for 6 months straight. Yeah, We get up to 80 in December sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll have a cold front, but then it goes right away, and then like literally get to 80 degrees in December. You see people walk around with short pants. I remember playing like Christmas Day, playing in the backyard, playing basketball with that goal, and it was like 80. All right, this smells like mild cereal grain, low oak, just plain. Not bad, plain. Piperdean. Now you say to me, oh, I want to buy a good scotch, but I don't want to pay much at all. I want to get something really cheap. Well, go to Albertsons, get Piperdean, $7.99. Be cheaper buying the jug bottle. But yeah, it'd be fine. If you can go to Total Wine and More, it'd be even better to get one of those cheap ones, like get the handle bottle, and they'd be like, you might find one for $11.99, which is like chump change. And you have a whole big 1,750 milliliter bottle of scotch. Will it be good scotch? It will be pretty good, like a B minus, 80 out of 100. But it might be a good trade-off because you're not paying hardly anything. And I don't know what your utilization is. If you're going to sit by the fireplace and read some book about the history of Afghanistan or Taiwan, and you want to sip on a deluxe scotch, I don't think the one you buy from Total Wine and More for $11.99, a handle is going to work. But then I didn't need to tell you that because you knew that already. Now, Dewar's 12, yeah, you're going to live larger with that. But you're going to pay $48.99, you know, for the big bottle. And it can work as a sipper in a way, in some ways. It's not really focused on that. Like if you get on the website, they immediately start talking about cocktails. With the Dewar's white label, that's all they talk about. You know, they just say, let's look at the cocktails you can make. You know, they don't say, oh, let's sip it and taste the harsh cereal grain and the kind of nasty bite. No, they don't say that. The 12-year, they'll say, oh, all these wonderful flavors. And now let's look at the cocktails. See, so they're driving towards that. You want to do the sipping and all the luxuriousness. Then you go to the 15-year age, the 18-year age. But then now you're talking about the big money. How bad are the bugs down by the Gulf Coast? I hate spiders and roaches, and I think I would have to live in a high rise to avoid them. Well, we get a lot of insects. Roaches want to get in everybody's house, whether you're in a mansion, you know, the biggest house in New Orleans, or a shack. They're going to try to get in. They're going to get in. They find ways in. But what I found works like magic is Harris. It's called Harris Roach Tablets. Come in a little paper box. Not cardboard, really. Just hard white paper. I guess that's a type of cardboard. But you put one little tablet in each bedroom or kitchen, and I got one in every room in the house. I ain't seen a roach in 2-3 years. It wipes them out. It's boric acid, and they eat it. Then they take it back to their nest, and everybody else eats it, and it just kills them. It kills. So that's, to me, and it's cheap. You can go to Dollar General and get a thing of Harris roach tablets, and they'll last years. You know, they nibble on a little bit, and once they're dead, and they don't come back in. I hadn't seen, like I said, I hadn't seen. But you know, we get silverfish, you know, mosquitoes and everything. But I don't worry about it. I guess I can't worry about it. Got a lot of snakes around here. Okay, taste time. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, says Brian. That's true. You got to know when to walk away and know when to run. I never taste my whiskey when I'm sitting at the table. All right, I taste it when I'm sitting at the desk. All right. Now in aroma, all right, this didn't have too much going for it. I thought, It's probably just Piperdean. It's so bland. But in the flavor, there's a lot of heavy wood. Now, would you like to taste a lot of oak wood? It's heavy oak, not charred oak, like you get with bourbon, that heavy charcoal char. But no, but it is just like saturated oak. Like think of oak that's just saturated with whiskey. Well, it has been saturated for 12 long years. So, and you get some white bread dough, not just grain, like harsh grain alcohol. See, the grain alcohol doesn't have a lot of flavor. The grain alcohol is like vodka. You know what I mean? It's odorless and tasteless and has no color. It's like you want to say moonshine. Now, some of the Scotch brands, they make it with wheat. Some of them use corn. Doesn't really matter because it's going to come out the same. Odorless, colorless, tasteless, in an essential nature of it. Or they might use a blend of corn and wheat. But the flavor is going to come from that single malt whiskey. Could be some of the types or all of the types or one of the types, however they're trying to construct it. So that one is very nice, and it has that honey taste. It's probably a lot of space side because I'm not tasting any smoke or anything like that. You get a little touch at the end, so you might be putting a little Isla in the blend, maybe 1 or 2%. You got to know when to. Oh yeah, Kenny says Raganga. Kenny. Ruby. Ruby, don't give your love away. All right. Now this one here is very basic, but it helps me see what condition my condition is in. You know what I'm saying? It's very bitey. Where do I go? Who do I turn to? This thing is getting bit. Yikes. Oh, wow. It's got to be 3 years old. I don't know. There's no age limit. It gives you the frisson, the willies. Be aviation. Maybe I'll go north enough to avoid bad bugs, but south enough to avoid rough winters. Maybe Arkansas might work. All right. Oh, I don't know. Well, that one's rough, harsh, bitey, and a little sweet, and not so good. On its own, it might be good. When I did a solo review years ago, I was like, yeah, that's kind of nice. But when you put this into competition against the Dewar's 12-year, oh boy, it is a fiasco. I said this last night. I said this would be such a bad taste challenge. And I was right. So is it really $40 better? It's $40 better, believe me. Maybe OKC. It sounded like nice there. Oklahoma City. Yeah. I've been there. Just got a lot of tornadoes. All right. Let's be honest. And I always try to be honest. I might be controversial. I might be irritating and all these other things, but I try to be honest. And the Dewar's 12 year is $40 better. It's a $40 more. It costs $40 more. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't cost $40 more. I'm wrong because I was thinking of the darn. I'm mismatching the bottle sizes. Let's see. I'm going to tell you what it is. Let's see. 17. It's okay. $31 more. It costs you $31 more, but it's still worth it. I mean, yeah, it's worth it. It's pay the $31 more, all right, to get the handle of Dewar's 12, and it's going to be much better. Oh, so much better. Piperdean is not designed or produced to compete with Dewar's 12, and don't even say Buchanan's 12-year. It's just produced to be some cheap marginal product that you could tolerate. Oh, that's a really good product. The more I sip on the Dewar's 12, the more I like it. Like I've been working through it. It's like every time you try it, it improves. And that's a good sign. Like every time you try it, it gets better. Whereas Piperdean, every time you try it, it's in a decline. Because every time you sample it, like some new badness comes out. It exposes things in it. I'm telling you right now, it tastes like rubbing alcohol. Well, I never drank rubbing alcohol. I'd be dead if I had its wood alcohol. But you know what I'm saying? It's got that doctor's office antiseptic taste. Like you cut your leg and you're at the doctor's office, you know, and they cleaning it, waiting for him to come do the stitches, and you smell all that antiseptic stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to drink a Scotch whiskey, so you could tell everybody I'm drinking something imported from Scotland and it tastes and smells like doctor's office antiseptic, go ahead. I mean, it's only $7.99. So how many different products does Sazerac have? My gosh. Oh, a lot. They have a lot that they make and claim to make. And then it must be over 100 others that they don't acknowledge because they're making it for somebody else. Whether they're making it for Trader Joe's or Costco or in this case, Albertsons and Super Value, or a multitude of others. Walmart, for instance, they do a lot of that contracting. I don't know, but it must be literally hundreds. And I'm talking about just whiskey. It's incredible. It's incredible. I don't know how you'd ever find that list. If there's some kind of code, right, that you could break that would list them all. Because all these products, all these products, no matter if they're privatized, you know, a private label or just a regular brand, like Sazerac rye whiskey, they have to be coded. Like each one has a specific code registered with the U.S. government. So if you could find out what that code is, then you'd be able to track all the different Sazerac produced brands. But a counterpoint would be, but who would care about that? You know, like why would anybody really want to do that? It's a good question. I wouldn't care to do it. You can always tell it's Sazerac because it always has the same phone number to call. Half the time it'll say info@sazerac.com. It always has the same shaped bottle. I mean, it's obvious it has that lip at the bottom. It's always the same shape. There's like 3 different bottle designs they use, always the same shape. Like Heaven Hill, they got the same shape bottle. You can always tell that's Heaven Hill. All right. They're the king of obscure and some good liquors. Yes, that's where they make their money. You say, well, they make some of the best whiskeys in the world. Pappy Van Winkle, 18-year age. Yeah, but look, for every dollar they're making off of that, they're probably making $10,000 off of these obscure common brands. You know, that's where their money is. They know where their money is. Their money's on 99 brand bananas. You know, that banana flavor liqueur. I mean, they make their money off of party products, let's be honest. Weekend pool party products where people act crazy and drink irresponsibly with 99 brand bananas or 99 brand grape, or buy Taka Vodka, which no one on earth sips, and they're making Jello shots. And I'm like, that's where their money is. And they sell a lot of stuff to like restaurants in New Orleans, in New York City, I'm sure, whatever. You know, rail whiskey, rail gin, and people are making happy hour cocktails and overcharging you some ridiculous. You say, well, it was only $6 for that old fashioned. Yeah. And it only cost them 16 cents to make it. You know, so, hey, well, I don't disparage that. If that's what they make their money off of, doesn't make any difference to me. Okay. Is it really good? No. I asked somebody at Walmart one time, I saw he was buying a huge jugs of it, not just one, of Caliber vodka. I said, is that stuff any good? He said, oh, no, it's terrible. It was on New Year's Day he was buying it. New Year's Eve day. He said, we're just making a bunch of Jello shots for a New Year's Eve party. Okay, so, you know, he's saying it's terrible, but he's buying it to make Jello shots. They're not going to sit there at a party for New Year's Eve and sit around the table and say, oh, this Jello shot has an intricate wood interaction with the grain alcohol, and and take notes, and say, now give your score, that's not what these are made for. All right. So anyway, oh wait, I forgot to do the reveal. Well, I'll do that for what that's worth, which is nothing. I know some people just get cheap vodka and mix it with whatever they have lying around. Exactly. And for that, it's fine. Yep. D12. That was my left hand one. This was the right. D12. Dewar's 12. Yeah. Clearly better. We knew that already. So thanks for watching this. And tomorrow, I might have to do tomorrow's today, though. Thursday, I might have to do later on Wednesday. I'm going to bring in one that can really compete. It won't ultimately win, but it'll be able to compete at least instead of this. And it's going to be King Robert II. Kind of a little more well-known brand. I didn't say respected brand. There's a 12-year age King Robert II, but I've never seen it. The red label, it exists. But and then there's also a travel exclusive, like one you can only get at the airport if you're going out of country, which I know I'll never see that. But King Robert II, at least it's going to battle today or tomorrow later on. So keep an eye open for King Robert II versus Dewar's 12. Dewar's going to win, but it'll be more of a this. If this was a football game this morning, it was 58-3, and you can't even believe that they scored 3 points. It was almost like the other team felt sorry for him. Tip says, "Good morning, cheers to you." Yeah, good morning. Like you're mourning, you're sad because of a funeral. That's what this is, kind of like a funeral. Thanks for watching, everybody.